Hello everybody, this is Matthew and Colin. Before we get started tonight, we just wanted to tell you about an exciting development we've got coming up with Long Bangers. We've teamed up with hubwave.net to offer additional content for those who want it.
How did I get that?
Well, hold on. Change the
Just
show,
change
didn't we?
it.
2 seconds. I'll stop the Hello everybody, this is Matty and Colin from Long Bangers. We're just, before we get started tonight, wanted to tell you about an exciting development we've got coming up with the podcast. We've teamed up with hubwave.net to offer additional content for those who love the podcast for a very small monthly subscription.
How do I get a hold of that?
Well, Colin, I'm glad you asked. You log on to longbangers.hubwave.net and for the price of less than half the price of Galatasaray Pie, £3 a month. Fucked it. This is the subscription. For that, like we said, just to recap, you're going to get short bangers extra every week. You're going to get ad-free episodes all the time. You're going to get 15% off our Redbubble shop. That's not all, Colin. What else are we going to chuck in?
Did you mention to me that we were going to get them earlier than everyone else as well?
Yep, 24 hours earlier than everybody else. And we have our live show coming up predominantly. Oh, fucking hell.
No! Fuck!
Fucking hell.
Bastard.
Preliminary.
Professionally, yeah.
Professionally. Preliminarily. Fucking hell. Provisionally. That was all. Hello, everybody. This is Matty and Colin from Long Bangers Podcast. Before we get started on tonight's episode, Colin, I just wanted to kind of speak to you about a wee development that we have. Now, we often get asked about whether or not we could put out some extra content for those that love the podcast. And up until now, we put out quite a lot already, so we've not been able to do it. However, we've teamed up with hubwave.net, and I think we've cracked it, and we're able to do it now.
Oh, that sounds great. Who are they? No. The question was going to be, yep.
Oh. Hello, everybody. This is Matty and Colin from Long Bangers Podcast. Before we start tonight's episode, Colin, I just wanted to speak to you about, we get asked from time to time. Normally is when is the episode out, because I've taken too long to publish it, so folk are chasing me for it. But we also get asked if we could put out some more podcasts. Now, we already do quite a heavy roster, so we've been finding it difficult to do it, but it looks like we've found a way, Colin.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, we've partnered with hubwave.net, who are podcast content creators, and they support podcasters to grow and develop what they're doing, which we'd obviously like to do. They reached out to us and said that they'd like to work with us, and of course, being podcast slags like we are, we just said yes, which we say yes to everything. And we kind of took it from there.
Okay, so what are we doing extra then?
Well, as a minimum column, extra short bangers every week. That's the big benefit. So guaranteed. That's the one that we get asked for the most, is short bangers. I've talked too much on this one already. It's fucking shite.
I don't think. Right, just.
But Colin, see, just before we start the podcast, mate, you've got a wee minute.
Aye, sure, aye. What is it?
Well, I looking to put out some extra content. I get asked about it a lot recently, and
that's
Colin, see, just before we start tonight, you've got a wee minute.
Aye, sure, I'm here anyway.
Aye, good. Looking for a wee bit more of your time every week, mate. Been getting increasing number of messages asking if we could do some extra episodes of short bangers. And I'm looking to kind of do that if it's all right.
All right. How much more?
An episode a week.
One episode a week.
One episode a week.
Okay. And what's the plan? Where are you? No, I need to stop here. I went fucked.
Colin, see, before we start recording tonight, mate, I'm looking for a wee favour. Needing a wee bit extra time for you each week.
All right. How much?
Extra episode of short bangers worth.
Right. All right.
Tell you what, for why.
Aye, I was just going to ask.
Aye, I knew you were going to ask. I thought I'd preempt it. Colin, see, just before before we start recording tonight, mate. You got a minute?
Aye. Aye, what's
Aye.
it? How can I help?
Looking for a favour, specifically a bit more of your time. Keep getting asked if we could put out extra episodes of Short Bangers, and I'm kind of wanting to do it. So I'm needing your time for an extra, at least one episode of Short Bangers every week if you're up for it.
Aye, sure, aye, can help with that.
Good stuff. Now, I'll tell you why. We've got approached by hubwave.net to ask if we wanted to work for them. They liked what we were doing. Obviously, we like what we're doing. And we've got the opportunity to do some good stuff. So I said yes to that. And we're going to be able to offer up an extra episode of Short Bangers every week to anybody who wants it.
Right, okay. Are you what you think? Are you going to charge people for this, or what's the plans?
Aye, so we will charge for it. There'll be a small subscription for it. So first thing I want to say is you still get everything. Folk who didn't want to pay will still get what they get now for free.
Okay.
But Hubwave are letting us charge, and fuck's sake, that's to the Short Bangers every week.
All right, why?
Because we keep getting asked for it.
Right.
So a couple of things we get asked for every week, Colin, and you'll see from our DMs on Twitter. Can you do me a Short Bangers, and can you get them out quicker? And
yeah, I've seen that.
So I'm going to do it. We've got teamed up with Hubwave. Don't know if you've heard of hubwave.net, Colin. They fucking hell. One extra episode a week that we're going to put up for people who want it, along with some extra benefits.
Okay. And you got to charge them for this? What's the thoughts?
Well, aye, there'll be a small charge, but let me tell you what you get for it, right? So 3 things to kick off with, right? And this is the things that we get asked for probably the most, right? Extra Short Bangers every week. Get your episodes 24 hours early. Guaranteed ad-free for life.
That sounds good.
Aye, well, for as
For
long
life?
as you register. For as long as you're
Aye.
subscribed. You know, longer than life if you forget to cancel your subscription and you die. So
that's the state's problem.
Yeah, that's it. Still get it ad-free.
All right. Any if you
Where do you go?
no, fuck that again. I need to talk over her, eh?